Okay, everybody's in first positions, please.
Settle in, please.
1 second. Okay. Okay, let's roll video, please.
Rolling. And speed.
Roll cameras. Speed. Action! Cut! Okay. That takes us to a shot here of Michael approaching the camera. At the conclusion of 2 approaches, we will do the stills of the ortho.
Well, first of all, IMAX has never had a film done on an individual athlete, so this will be the first time. And I mean, Michael is the preeminent athlete of the 20th century. He has made the most impact to the most people from a global perspective and a domestic perspective of anybody. And part of that is because not only what he's accomplished on the court and the fact that he never failed when the pressure was on, but because of who he is and what he says. And the fact is that if I ask Michael Jordan a question like, what are your 3 greatest personal awards? He also, without batting an eye, I mean, what's your greatest personal award? He says, I have 3 of them, they're my children. And he means it, you know, and people know that he means it. And I think that that sense of who he is, and in addition to being the competitor he is, makes him a real-life hero. And that's why he's perfect for IMAX, because IMAX is all about heroism.
Well, first of all, I mean, Michael Jordan is, if you think of the word larger than life, I mean, Michael defines larger than life. He's the most recognizable athlete in the world. Some have said the most recognizable person in the world, and so he obviously lends himself real well to the IMAX 8-story high screen. Secondly, Michael is he's a great role model figure for kids and for adults around the world. And our thinking in making this film was, you know, given the demographic of the IMAX theater base, with all the school kids and the school groups coming out to see the films on field trips, and the film being, you know, shown at the Smithsonian and museums around the country, was really, we wanted to put together a product that was inspirational, motivational, all of which are, you know, attributes that Michael represents and embodies so well, and which come across so well, we think, in the film.
Well, it's perfect because IMAX is the perfect medium for a larger-than-life figure, and Michael Jordan is, in fact, larger than life. I mean, Michael Jordan is on, you know, half of kids' walls in America today still, with these huge, posters and photographs, 6'6" tall, and now you're going to see him 8 stories high, you know, coming right at you, dunking the ball.
Action, action. Cut.
Top, that was great.
We have this one shot where, you know, Michael starts at the camera and the camera whirls around him and he ends up dunking the ball right in your face. And I mean, that sense of, you know, huge, mountain-like, you know, impact can only be captured by IMAX. And we're fortunate that we have it. And it's going to be, IMAX is a visual medium. And we have, you know, a visual answer to Michael Jordan, the player and the man.
Roll video.
Speed.
Roll camera.
Speed.
Action! We're cut.
Basically what we're trying to do is simulate extremely high-speed photography with extremely fast-moving cameras. So we're going to pretty much on this move a camera at about 300 feet a second with a shutter speed of basically the same as about 200 frames a second. So very, very high-speed photography, something that would be impossible to do in normal cameras. The way we achieve this is pretty much through a rig that this guy and his friends built for us, and a lot of jiggery-pokery and digital magic that we do in post-production once we get the frames into the computer. You should tell them how the rig works.
How does it work?
Well, the idea is, working with Mannix, that we were able to take the previs, and off the previs we extract information that allows us to properly place the cameras in exactly the position that the computer tells us that it needs to be. And then it's really the aiming and a lot of different factors that make it different from other systems that are currently out.
What we did is we spent quite a bit of time researching previous moves that Michael's done of a similar nature and trying to work out the time of how long he would take, how high he would jump, how far he would jump. And then we put that into the computer system and built a pre-visualization that is kind of a mock-up of the overall move. We take that information and then use it to program these cameras. Each camera is fired individually to simulate the motion of a camera moving around the particular path that they're set up over there.
Do I need a camera load?
Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah, they check over there.
Actually, I was supposed to play yesterday, but I didn't talk to him. Just got back in town. No. You were him. Richard is the word.
Okay, so Mannix, I'm waiting for, you tell me when you're ready.
It's pretty easy for us to get very close. And what happens is on the day, we'll do a practice run, see how our timing was compared to the timing on the day, and adjust things, make it right, and then fire the cameras, and bingo, we've got it. Basically, they're going to see Michael's signature move with pretty much a 270-degree camera move around him as the shot happens. So we'll see him lift off the ground, and very gradually the cameras will move as he approaches the basket until the camera comes to a stop, and then boom, in goes the ball. Absolutely. It gives the viewers more flexibility in being able to appreciate how the athlete performs and how they do their thing. You know, you get to see stuff from angles that you would never normally see it. It's going to be the United Center. We're going to go over tomorrow and shoot the United Center from many different angles, and we put that into a computer that pretty much will digitize the United Center, and we'll be able to produce virtual camera moves around the United Center, place Michael into his home environment, and have a virtual camera move that emulates as if we'd actually shot in the United Center. For obvious reasons, the rig is not really suited to the location stuff because we wanted more flexibility. We want to be able to change the timing on Michael, separate him away from the ground, do all sorts of crazy things. So it was more flexible to shoot a computer-generated version of the background instead of the live thing. And also it gives the directors more flexibility because we can produce any camera move they want. If we want the background to start spinning around when he's in the air, we can do that sort of stuff.
What the rig buys is really to be able to, it's almost, you could be at any seat at any time, and to capture that, to spin around Michael would be impossible. And if you're part of the audience, so now you get to be more than one viewer.
It's probably going to be one of the craziest moves that you've ever seen in IMAX. It's going to look fantastic, super high performance, high excitement. It's going to be great.
Roll cameras. Okay, action!
Cut.
Okay, that will take us to here, 2 approach shots.
Okay, let's do the approach shot.
The approach shots.
Okay. Yeah, I got 2 more jumps. I've been using one. That was great. We will. I'm counting.
So this is the camera move. We start with Michael running into the frame, and then we have the what we call the bullet time event, where we go into super high-speed photography, and we start to fly around Michael's jump. So this is the pre-visualization that we use to program all the cameras. So here we go. Boom, the rig fires, and we start going round, and we get to the end point. And now what will happen, we'll go back into real time, and Michael will slam the ball in. Okay? With the sound effects.
When the light flashes, it's the beginning of the shot, and it starts spinning around you. When the light flashes again, it's the end of the shot. We go back to high speed. So 21 that's when you start.
Yep, I'll come to get it. Great, okay.
Everything is from behind, right?
Yeah, now Kim, show him, do you have the computer animated one up here that you can show him what the end is?
Yes, it's over there actually.
Come on.
Great.
I know you got at least one.
Right here. Computer animated before we had these guys did it.
this side of the camera, you're okay.
So ball guys, keep an eye on what's going on in the
What does that take to do that?
How long will it take these guys
get
to
that
get? We will have that like beginning of November.
So that's
Takes
not
2.5
too
months.
bad.
No.
That's not too bad. It's not like animation.
I never go again. We got 2 takes and we got 2 good ones.
You guys heard the final result will look like.
When we created this rig, it was for a very specific conceptual idea of how a lead character achieves a sort of a mind over matter state of being, whereas by way of their concentration they can actually move faster than bullets. And that was it was a very smart application of the technology. But in actuality, while we were making it, we thought that the best use for it would be for real human achievement, for world records being broken, for things like Michael Jordan at his peak, and because that is the stuff that is history making. It's milestone moments in the lives of real people, not characters in a story, that are easily as engaging, if not more engaging, to see in this unusual way. Well, the goal is I mean, the first thing that should be known is that this is not like a frozen moment effect. This is actually a dynamically moving subject over time, and the whole purpose of this rig is to allow a camera to reach a destination in as brief amount of time as we choose. So whatever action it is, whatever crazy dynamic action, the slam dunk, jumping the high bar, whatever it is, we want to be able to take that camera over and around any, in a creative cinematographic way, and achieve, a point of view that could never be had with conventional equipment. And the audience is quite aware that there's something unusual about it, because everybody out there essentially is an expert. They've grown up their entire life sort of knowing the language of cameras, not knowing, without knowing it literally, just they watch a program and it all feels natural, the way cameras move. This is something that is really like a departure. It is what we call it virtual cinematography, and these are camera moves that can really only be achieved by way of computer planning and things of that nature. So it's a foreign experience for the audience.
Roll video. Speed. Roll IMAX. Wait. Roll camera. Speed. Action. And cut.
The Bullettime technology was really, we first came up with it when we were trying to think of a way that you could see Michael Jordan, perhaps one of the most photographed people in the history of mankind, and see him in a way that no one had ever seen him before. And what we ended up deciding upon here was taking sort of the classic Michael Jordan image, one of his signature slam dunks that he won the old slam dunk contest in the Chicago Stadium with years ago, and marrying that with a modern technology as developed for the Matrix, to be able to see this in a way that's not possible with the naked eye, much less on an 8-story high screen, and being able to see his grace in action as you go into super slow motion and see him from all angles. You see the muscles in his face and the ripples in his uniform as he flies through the air and then slam dunks the ball right at you.
Yeah. Richard.
I mean, what's helped play the ball?
You know that left you.
Roll cameras. Speed. IMAX, speed. Action.
Oh, you thought I was going to miss, didn't you?
Cut. All right, so let's
Well, when I first saw Michael today, you know, the first thing he said to me was, "So you're finally going to get your chance?" And I said, "Yeah, I've been waiting 15 years." So, you know, it's what it's like for me. I mean, I've seen virtually every game he played. I went on the road with them. I was at every finals game. I took road trips. I lived it and breathed it. So for me, this was much more than a job. This was an adventure, I guess. Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, the preparation was great, and my partners prepared me and everything else, but I could have walked out cold and done it. I mean, you know, just by letting myself think about things that I always wanted to ask him, you know, in the car with him. So, so yes, I mean, preparation helped, but I was ready to go. Well, what we wanted from him was a sense of who he is and what makes him tick and what questions he deems important, what questions make him smile, what questions make him thoughtful and pensive, and we got that. And I think it'll be a great, for the film, and a great inside look into who he is. And, you know, one of the things he said to me was, he said, you know, I said, that was really great, it was a great interview. He said, well, I just told the truth. He said, if you tell the truth, it's easy. And the reason why he's so good is because he comes off so well is because he tells the truth. And that's what he did today, and that's all we wanted, and we got that. So I'm very, very pleased. I think actually I did, you know. I mean, I asked Michael, you know, one of the things that I found Michael to be more thoughtful and more, you know, in a sense, spiritual than I think people think he is. I think that I was very taken with Michael's views of family and the lock, stock, you know, solid foundation that he has from his parents. And I think that these were questions that I asked him about, that he volunteered, and that gave us a huge insight to why he became who he is. Because there are players out there who have tremendous physical gifts, but the mental and the psychological and the spiritual aspect of the game is something that he captured as fully as he did athletically. Well, we're not going to put him in one part of the film. He will be there throughout the film. In a sense, he will narrate our film, and because he's doing that, he will sort of be overseeing the film, and I think that will give the film an extra sense of validity, and I think that will be, you know, he's so good on camera that to use him, to intersperse him, I think will be really great.
This film is about much more than the Bulls' final championship run. It's a film about Michael the individual, Michael the person, Michael the champion, and our goal in doing this interview was to not only get Michael to talk articulately as he did about the final championship season and the various trials and tribulations that he and the Bulls faced over that, you know, long, challenging run that we captured, but more importantly, to give us some insight into his persona, because I think Michael Jordan is one of the great role model figures for kids of our time, and it was because of the fact that he was more than just a winner and more than just a great athlete. It was because of the fact that he possessed such admirable character traits, the competitiveness, the work ethic, the ability to to get the most out of his teammates. Those are the type of things that he talks about in the movie, and also more importantly than even that are the great family character attributes that Michael possesses, the importance of his mother and his father in his life, and the way he relates to what his mother said to him when he was cut from his high school team, or the dreams that he and his father shared around playing baseball. I mean, and Michael's valiant effort to make it as a professional baseball player shortly after his father's passing. I mean, those are the type of things that in the film that we felt really made this more than a basketball highlight film, but made it a truly inspirational and motivational story that Michael tells to the audience.
And that actually, I should add, is an important element, which is that he does tell it to the audience. This is an experiential medium, and it's important that we took advantage of that and that Michael Jordan sits and speaks directly to the camera, and in doing so he's speaking to you as an audience member, and when you're sitting in that theater you will be able to look at the screen and feel like he's talking to you one-on-one. And like the large format or IMAX format has taken people to a lot of other places they've never been, very few people have actually had the chance to sit down with Michael Jordan and hear about his philosophies on life, on his developments in childhood that really took him to the great person that he is today. And I think that by setting up the interview as we have, it allows us to explore that with the audience.
Camera!